So here it is, the re-record that, honestly, at first I figured it. At first I thought it was necessary because of a spoiler. Turns out no. As I was going through and actually editing the last episode that you saw, which was last week, the spoiler was actually there. The spoiler is more so for here, and again, it was just a simple elaboration on did Yamabukuro recognize the Tem kind of thing. So yeah, I ended up just scrapping that because it was literally just me repeat. The spoiler section was literally just me repeating myself with more spoilery dialogue. Can you say pointless AF? So yeah, but yeah. So this week, what we're gonna do? So this time, as I realize I don't even have my proper uniform on. Crap! I just realized that. Give me 1 second. While I figure out where the hell I put it, and then as I keep talking here, sorry about that. I'll probably edit out the search for as little as that meant, but at the same time. So yeah, no. So this week we're gonna do something a little different. Obviously, this is a re-record. Now, admittedly, I didn't actually completely hate the original version, but I didn't actually think it was all that great. Hate either. So I figured, you know what, especially considering that back then Kazuki Takahashi had not passed away yet. I figured with an episode like this, with a thing where I was going to talk about the creator in this episode, in this video, I figured it was more appropriate to do so here, so I could do so with much more respect. Because sadly, at the time I'm recording this, Kazuki Takahashi had passed away, and I wasn't intending that. Which is kind of annoying because I had, as I have described before, these videos started being recorded in the middle of 2021, and you're going to start seeing them in 2024. Just to give you a bit of context, next here. This is currently 2023 that I'm recording this video right here. The problem, so let's talk about, so that's where I really want to start. Kazuki Takahashi is a man I obviously did not know personally, obviously, and obviously is somebody who I honestly have a decent amount of respect for. He's not someone I bash because I don't think his work is bad, and I don't think, and everything I've ever heard of him says that, yeah, he was a good person. And I want to start right here at the beginning, giving a moment of silence for Kazuki Takahashi as he crafted such a fantastic world with such fantastic characters. Even if I disagree with him on some points, death sucks, and that's all there is to that. So, I would like to offer a moment of silence for Kazuki Takahashi. And in all honesty, I am probably even just going to, in editing, probably just mute this portion of the video, just full mute, because the furnace. So, if you didn't hear a furnace, but you're hearing one now. That's why. But regardless, yeah, the mic is barely picking it up. I can see it on the on OBS here. Regardless, though, I have a lot of respect for the series that Kazuki Takahashi created. I even have a lot of respect for the fact that there was one particular card that was honestly never going to get released here in the West because he just refused to allow it to be censored, and that was Magician Gal, because the TCG is so afraid of boobs and pentagrams that it's kind of fucking pathetic. But yeah, regardless of any of that. So I just wanted to get that little diatribe out of the way. I will also link you a video that actually talked about the creator in more detail, and does, I could give you a whole biography of that, but I feel like it's just been done and done better. So, link in the description to a video done by TGS Anime on Kazuki Takahashi, because he just did it better. There's nothing more I can say about that, you know? So, in kind of a weird segue, I wanted to get the respectful moment of silence for the creator out of the way right now. Just so that way I can, show my respects before I go diving into the episode itself and other stuff. So, let's start with how a redo of my videos works, because this was originally going to be something I was going to do for Rooster Teeth Ruby before I completely scrapped that idea, because I do not wish to engage in I do not wish to support a company like Rooster Teeth. I do not find the quality of the work to be good, and I frankly and Volume 8 just kind of made me go, I am so sick of the up and down motions of the quality of the volumes. Because when Ruby is good, it is great. When it is awful, it is downright goddamn painful. And frankly, I do not feel like sitting through stuff that I do not feel like sitting through rant view worthy stuff to get to stuff that I would gush and praise about. To put it as bluntly as I can, I don't want to slog through the anger-inducing bullshit of Volume 8 to get to the amazement of Volume 9, just to get that, just kind of put that into perspective, you know? I mean, this series will have rant views. Oh god, it will have rant views. But at the same time, you know, the sea of good is still the sea of good. But whatever. Regardless, regardless, the reason you know, the, but you know, but yeah. No, so my process is that I sit down and I watch, rewatch, the episode or the volumes in question, because with Ruby I was going to do a Beacon arc review of going through volumes 1, 2, and 3 back to back to back, going through my notes. My red notebook is over there. I forgot to grab it because I'm an idiot. But the point is what I will do is I will go down, I'll have my notebook with, the original notes that I took. And I'd be like, all right, All right, so yeah, the wielding of the 7 items, the stuff about season 0, morphing jar, or just desserts, all of that kind of stuff. And I would go, is there anything I want to add? Is there any kind of notes I want to add? Which is funny because on my page here, as I try to get the glare out of the way, hey, you can kind of see, yeah, you can kind of see that I had a bit of space to work with. But I still only chose to, because I only had like one extra note, so I put it up by where it makes sense, because I took the note for Magician of Faith right when her thing activated, and of course I put the little note up at the top, there, because I thought it made sense because of something I noticed with that. But we'll get into that later. Let's talk about season 0 finally. So season 0, or the Toei anime, if you prefer, it was, of course, Toei Animation's attempt at crafting the series, and they were going to be sticking very closer to the manga as possible. To be blunt, and I know I'm going to get some pushback for this, I don't think season 0 is all that good. It has its moments. It has episodes that are fantastic, but I can name out of all of the episodes of the well, I guess matches, we'll call it, because some of them are multiple episodes long. The only battles that I really remember being really, really good, in my opinion, were her. Uh, well, there were some episodes that I liked, and then there's some that were just forgettable. I mean, do you remember the golf episode? Do you remember the half of the Death Tea stuff? Right, right. Because the episodes I remember are the first one, obviously, the the stupid rapist, the stupid rapist that Atem beat with chloroform, with that chloroform game, with that clock chloroform game. The terrorist, voiced by Frieza, no less. I'm pretty sure voiced by Frieza, no less. The Japanese voice for Frieza. Um, the obviously the Exodia duel. He'll, you know, Exodia obliterate that whole thing. And of course, the D&D session against Yami Bakura. Those are the ones that I remember. There's a few others that I do remember too. I remember uh, Taya getting threatened by a tiger, which that incidentally, and oh right, that was the other one I remember. The dude who, the dude that him literally beat. Oh, I have to do this because it's right here. That it's him literally beat with a Zippo. I mean it sincerely. I'm not a big fan of Calgary Flames. This is just a Zippo that my friend gave me, and I could probably get a custom case for it, but regardless. But yeah, no, that whole scene was awesome. You guys, if you remember if you know the flashback with Taya working at that restaurant, well, that's the restaurant. Funny enough. I I talk about that kind of stuff in later videos because none of that has come up yet. It has from my perspective, but not from yours. We're still ways off from all that. But yeah, there is some good stuff, but again, Kaiba is way too goddamn evil in season 0, and I'm gonna say it like that, evil. I mean, seriously, read the manga sometime. Joey literally goes up against a serial killer during the Death Tea arc, and I want to remind you, Kaiba set up Death Tea. Think about that for a second. Yeah. So, needless to say, I just kind of like to forget season 0 happened for the most part, you know? Now I know that, now I'm not trying to say that it doesn't that you can't turn a villain into a hero. Vegeta is probably the best example of this, and is still the best example of this. The and granted, you do have an excuse for why he would turn, be better after one defeat, in the form of destroy his evil heart with shadow magic. So I'm not trying to say that it's out of character, it's just I don't like that characterization for Kaiba because it kind of taints his later characterization. Sense make. And I'm not trying to say that Kaiba is a bad character. In fact, it could have actually worked to kind of have Kaiba kind of progress. But by the end, but even during here in season 1, Kaiba is not evil. He's actually basically one of the good guys, and that's actually one of the things that, from your perspective, you're going to hear me rant about in specific episodes. Scars of Defeat and Face Off coming to mind immediately. But that's beside the point. Right. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of season 0. It has some good moments, but I also feel like it's got a lot of fluff to it. Like like there is literally a cutaway in between when draws Exodia and when Exodia actually pops out of the cards. Yeah, not a fan of that because yeah. Never mind the fact that that is literally ruined in the opening because they literally show Exodia getting summoned in the opening. They don't really show that it's an instant kill in the opening, but that's beside the point. God, even the opening of the even voice didn't do that, pull that stunt. But I digress. Alright, enough stalling. Let's actually get to the episode itself. Evil Spirit of the Ring, aka Morphing Jar's Trap, Flame Swordsman in Danger. I guess as saying Flame Swordsman, or Flame Swordsman, Dark Magician, Magician of Faith, and Cyber Commander, and are in danger just was too goddamn long of a title. Yeah. I mean, granted, Flame Swordsman is the one in the most trouble in here, I suppose. But I guess Flame Swordsman and Cyber Commander actually could have been a working title too. Ew. Or Tears of the Maiden of Magician of Faith. That could work too. What doesn't work is my phone going off. Give me a moment. What do we got? Oh, right. Well, I am not going to sit here. I am not going to watch that because that is the Lore Runner bashing the PS1 game. No thanks. Well, I don't know if he's going to bash it, but Mega Man Legends 1 doesn't fill me with much confidence that he's going to be any nicer to the sequel. Anyways. But anyways. So, this is our introduction to flip effect monsters. I think. Let me flip back a couple of pages and make sure. Well, I guess this is literally our introduction to flip effects. Okay. Interesting. So, because we're introduced to flip effect monsters in this one. We're introduced to 2 specifically. We'll get a third one later with Cyberjar. Morphing Jar, which is funny because another jar monster. It's going to be another jar monster, but it's literally going to be Morphing Jar, and it's literally Morphing Jar and Maneater Bug. Now, how much Horn of Heaven can stop Maneater Bug is questionable at best. Honestly, it would have been kind of better if it had been some other card. I'm not sure which, but I suppose I can pull it up and actually you know, talk about it. Regardless though, morphing jars, of course, the whole discard hands getting discarded and then a whole new hand being drawn. It being drawn. Holy crap! If I could talk, I swear. And so, but anyways, I've got it here. So Horn of Heaven, which is a normal trap in the anime, because again, counter traps, which is just to negate the summon and destroy the monster by attributing a monster. So yeah, needless to say, hey, I don't think it's supposed to prevent man-eater bugs thingy. But I have no idea. Yeah, but yeah. We'll just say that in the anime it can do that. Actually, I should have checked that. Oh, God, what am I thinking? Well, I guess we could also just say that because it technically targeted Flame Swordsman, and then that was, and then that's how that happened. So, yeah. But anyways, I should keep talking. Sorry about that. Editing. That's what editing is for. Anyways, but yeah, Morphing Jar and Maneater Bug are the two in question. Or Morphing Jar and Maneater Bug are the two in question that uh, we are introduced to in this one. Maneater Bug, of course, being the more prevalent one, though I have heard many stories of the whole empty jar, uh, of the whole empty jar fiascos. So there's that. Which is funny because, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. Apparently, Hearn of Heaven has only ever appeared in the DM anime. I mean, it makes sense. It's not very many people would actually use that. So there's that. Hmm. Regardless, though, regardless though, so uh, Maneater Bug and Morphing Jar are very devastating uh, flip effects. Flip effects were the bane of many fighters in early Yu-Gi-Oh, which is funny, and which is funny to me. Sorry, I'm wrong. 3, because Magician of Faith is also a flip effect. So there's that. And Magician of Faith can also return to the card graveyard. Maneater Bug is destroy a monster. Morphing Jar is refresh the hands, discard the hands, and draw 5 new ones. And that. We're also introduced to Just Desserts, which is much more devastating in season, which is a very powerful trap card that will never be seen again because it's too powerful. Yeah. Well. I mean, hell, that could be super devastating against, oh, I don't know, say Gorimo, who decides to have an entire field full of monsters, or darts for that matter, because I don't think he's immune to burn damage unless that stupid eyeball can block can affect damage. Let's double check you actually. Uh, nope. Mm, dang it. There it is. It was a K. That's why. Do, 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 do. Yeah, it's all battle damage. Damage. Seriously, just desserts this. Start and he's screwed. Three just desserts and he's basically done. Like, come on. And this isn't hard. Anyways, sorry about that. Anyways, um, uh, we're also introduced to Change of Heart, which wins the day, and the 3 copies thing. Hey, there's not much I can really say about the duel in question. I know there's a lot. There is some stuff I can talk about in regards to, um, in regards to it, like some of the strategies involved, but there's not really a lot to the duel itself. But I've always liked this concept of becoming your favorite card, which is kind of an interesting take on it, you know? And what's funny is you may be wondering, well, how would that work with, say, Kaiba and the Blue Eyes White Dragon? You ever play Legend of Dragoon? Something like that. I know that sounds stupid, but there you go. But regardless, I do like the one thing I will say is that I kind of like it better in the dub, where this is kind of the first time Yugi's really been paying attention to the fact that Atem has been guiding him during duels. Uh, then of course there's the secret. With in the sub, it's just he's been keeping the secret. Another reason why Season 0 cannot be canon with the Gallop anime, by the way. Hey, there's just so many layers to this. Oh, never mind the fact that Yami Bakura was not known to either of them, which means that the D&D session can't be canon. I'm sorry, I hate to point all this out, but it's like every time I turn around, it's like there's a new wrinkle that prevents and frickin' Season 0 from being canon. It's not just that I don't like Season 0. There is literally plot holes with just saying Season 0 is canon. Massive plot holes, and I hate myself for saying that, but of course, in, say, a rewrite project, you could just easily smooth those over. Because you would just be readapting the story at that point. Which is the other reason why it's a lot harder for me to get a Yugioh rewrite project off the ground now, because he's kind of dead, and depending on how you do it, how I would do it, that could read that could read as I've been waiting for that. No, I'm still waiting because I still need to shore up some of the weaknesses of that entire idea. But I digress. Then there's so yeah. That's one thing I do prefer is just the whole idea of, I do like that his friends don't pull the whole cliche of the liar revealed thing. Oh, you've been lying, we can't trust you, blah, 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 blah. I am so sick of that, because real friends would be like, you probably had a good reason, and would we have really believed that a 5,000-year-old spirit there was living in your Millennium Puzzle? Would we really have believed that if you had told us? You know? Now, granted, sometimes it can just be like too unbelievable to the point of, where the trust wanes. But true friends, no, true friends will have your back regardless and won't think you're lying. I mean, when you tell them some outlandish tale when it happens to be true, you know. Which means this also avoids the second side of the liar revealed bullshit, which is the Cassandra truth. To quickly explain what the Cassandra truth thing is, since I briefly explained what the liar revealed is, the Cassandra truth is you have to believe me. There's this thing that I need to tell you about, and nobody believes them. And then, oops, we should have listened to you because it turns out you were right, and because we didn't believe you, now we're getting our fucking asses kicked. Yeah. That is a form of fake drama because that's not drama at that point. That's just his people being goddamn fucking stupid. Stupid. Stop guzzling the fucking paint thinner and believe your child when your child says that there's a fucking monster on the loose. You fucking dipshit. My favorite example of this actually comes from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. A little girl goes into a station to report that she saw some monsters up to no good, and this lady literally says, "Now you know, sweetie, there is no such thing as monsters." In Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, where the Power Rangers are public figures. They are effectively the police, firefighters, and paramedics. Never mind all the other stuff that Linkara points out about them being on talk shows and all of that, and them not having secret identities. The fact of the matter is that they have been publicly fighting monsters in public, in the open. Never mind any of the other stuff with them not having secret identities, them being on talk shows and all that. That adds to it. But the bottom line, the one thing that should debunk any monsters don't exist is the fact that the Power Rangers out in the public view have been fighting monsters. And let's not even touch on the fact that was 2 seasons from the season that ended with a full alien invasion. Let's not even touch that. Let's not even touch that. I'm getting off on a wild Power Rangers tangent. Holy crap. There's something I could probably talk about for a decent chunk of time, but that would be more of a general, my general thoughts on the Power Rangers franchise, because going in depth with each season, no thanks. Other people have done that much better, and frankly, I am not going to step on the toes of history at Power Rangers, because that's the only thing that I can just point that to you out to you and just be like, go watch that. Again and again, and you don't have to agree with Linkara's Twitter feed or frickin' politics, which is sadly something that I wish more creators would just stop fucking around with. It's like, just whatever. Just distancing themselves from all of that bullshit. I try to. Then my friends start shoving it in my face again. Actually, that was more Matt than Steve, admittedly, but it was still being shoved in my face, and I frankly hate it. But regardless, I'm getting way off track here. Let's get back on track here. So then Bakura comes out of Change of Heart and breaks the rules. Let's just call it what it is. And then Yugi sends him to the graveyard. Where, spoilers, Yami Bakura will be back, and they won't explain how he's back. He's just back. Though, considering what Yami Bakura's true identity is, you know what? I'm willing to let that slide for the most part. But I won't be able to explain why for multiple seasons, which from my perspective is going to be like 3 whole seasons worth of content, and from your perspective, it's going to be like over 4 seasons of content, but that's beside the point. Regardless, Hardless, I do like the soul swap up. That the Millennium Puzzle can apparently, put souls back where they belong. It actually helps kind of. It actually is kind of an interesting little light foreshadowing of of the mind shuffle strategy. But I'm not going to touch on. I don't want to touch on that. Past, from my perspective, past Alex, and from your perspective, from my perspective, past Alex will touch on that in a video you'll be seeing in the future. So, regardless. So hey, here's the setup that's going to start with the rescue of all things, which is a season 2 episode. Decently into season 2 as well, because again, I started doing the whole multi-parters as one, which you're still. Actually, is that next week from your perspective? Did I start that with Panic? I don't actually remember. Well, I of course have to edit this, and edit these, and I still have to edit all of those. And I've been editing these in order, hence why I had to stop editing and do this video, so that way I could then edit this video and work on other stuff, and then continue on. So Bakura gets his body back, heck, and everything's good, and they go deal with, they hear my scream, and so they have to go deal with that. Honestly, I actually kind of like this. I like this episode in both languages, if I'm honest. Both versions of this episode. I don't have a preference for either, but I would watch either of these episodes like that. This is honestly one of my personal rewatch list, because it is a damn good episode, and I could easily watch this episode again at any point in sub or dub, because I think this is really good, which is also part of the reason why I did this whole sub and dub thing. Hey, right? I do like some of the comedy in this episode too, especially in the dub. Listen to me, Joey. You've become the Flame Swordsman. I'm the who? It's like. Also, the insult to Yugi is a lot more. It is a lot more prevalent in the dub, because in the sub it's literally, oh, there's the cool Yugi and then the normal Yugi, and it's like, that's what he's getting upset about, not being cool. In the dub, at least it's you got the Yugi up there and the puny one down here, the big Yugi up there and the puny one down here. Here, and Yugi's like, I'll show you who's puny, and then that leads to him attacking the electric lizard, which they only mention the non-zombie. Excuse me. The non-zombie thing, which is funny because because I don't think the zombie type has even come up yet. But regardless, that's going to do it for me. Next week you'll be back to videos I recorded in 2021, and I will see you next time. You will see past Alex next time for that, and when you get to season 2, that's when you'll see this version of me, future Alex, dealing with that. So until next time, I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope I have been as respectful to Kazuki Takahashi as I wanted to be. Because admittedly, I talked a bit about in the original version, I talked about him wanting to craft a thing about games, but I think leading you towards the video by TGS Anime is just will do Kazuki Takahashi a lot more justice than I can in this video. And I wanted more so to talk about the Season 0 stuff anyway than the creator himself. But regardless, we're not fully done talking about Kazuki Takahashi because we do have to talk about the issues with during Dawn of the Duel and some of the other stuff too. And I'm not done with the manga comparisons by a long shot. So there's that. Regardless, until next time, this is Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walkers signing out. Have a good one. Duel stand by.